What's up, y'all? My name is Andre Hopkins, also known as Entre Interview, and today I'm joined here by Dr. Michelle Payne, 100 Thieves Sports Psychologist. How are you doing today?
Terrific, thank you.
Happy to hear
For me,
it.
it's mid-afternoon, so it's
And
it's a good time of day to talk.
it is 7:12. I've been ready all day. I've been raring to go, writing down different questions that have come to my head over the last 2 weeks, I think. So hopefully these are good. Hopefully we can get some good answers from you. So just kind of...
Let's not over-deliver. Just calm down a bit. We'll see how we go, shall we?
Yeah, not too big of expectations. I
No
get
expectations, that's right.
it. So just to kind of start off, I mean, for people who don't know, I mean, who are you? What do you do? And what do you kind of provide for a team? And what have you done over your career?
Well, that's a long question. As you can hear, I'm an Aussie, so I live in Melbourne, Australia, and I've been a sports psychologist for 40 years. So I don't feel that old, but I'm having lots and lots of fun. So I started off in traditional sports, and I've got two sons. My youngest son was a part owner of one of the biggest orgs in Australia, and he had a Counter-Strike team who were needing some help with a sports psychologist. And they said, we've got some conflict. We need to talk to someone about fixing it up. And my son said, "Oh, I know one of those." So I got handball the job, and I didn't know anything much about. Well, I knew my son played Call of Duty, but I didn't know much about esports at that point. And in fact, the person I'm going to talk to after this, Andre, is a guy from my very first team. I love all my players, and
Thanks.
So I'm catching up with him to see how he's going. But anyway, that's aside the point. So this is in 2019, and I started working with that team, not knowing exactly how translatable traditional sports psychology was to esports. So I was trying things quite tentatively in those days. But I worked out pretty soon that there's definitely a one-to-one transfer of skills. And the only difference really is the amount of comms that are involved in esports. It's unlike traditional sports. And I found out that I really, really enjoyed esports because I should explain that when a traditional sport athlete comes to see me, either in person at my place or that's how it was in those days, come to see me at my place, I would hear from them as to what problems they had, and I would suggest some things to try and fix it up, and then send them on their way, and they'd come back and tell me in a week or two's time whether that worked or not. But always you're sort of behind all the time because the thing has already happened, and you're relying also on that one person's account, so you're not sure whether that's actually the full truth or not. And so in esports, I got a chance to watch the game live and hear on my headphone and speak to players live and see things that I was suggesting change in real time. And boy, that's really exciting to me. So it's such an interesting profession to be in, and something that I've really, really enjoyed the last 6 years. Well, nearly 7 years now.
What org was it in Australia? I know a few. I want to see if I actually know which one it is.
Which team it was? It was Chiefs.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know. Yep, Chiefs. Okay, I honestly, that was just for me.
They had a number of teams. Yeah, I worked with their Counter-Strike team, but also their Rocket League team and their Rainbow Six team for a while there too, and they were quite successful also.
I know them from Rainbow Six and from CS. That's why I was like, just for my own personal, I was like, let's see if I actually know who it is.
Yeah, good on you.
So you kind of talk about the transferable skills from traditional sports to esports. I mean, what are a few of those that you can kind of think of off the top of your head?
Easily, probably the skill that I work most of my traditional sport athletes with, and also my esports athlete, is how to control their emotional energy, or how to not be too nervous, or how to go into an event knowing that you can deliver the skills to the level that you normally do, or even better, hopefully, when it's under pressure. And so just being able to manage yourself, manage your emotions in those ways is probably the number one skill that most people would need, whether they're in traditional sports or in esports. What to do when you lose confidence, how you use different goal setting skills to try and track behaviors. And understand, what it is you're doing that's not so helpful, or what is helpful that you want to do more of. Those sort of things, they're very important also. So, the very traditional, very basic sort of skills, they're exactly transferable.
I mean, we kind of saw an overhaul recently in recent times of teams picking up sports psychs with 100 Thieves, G2 recently, kind of happening across the esports world. Have you personally, as someone who's been in for so long, seen a shift happen of teams picking up a ton of them?
In the very early days when I first started, we were not very many of us, and I could probably count on one hand probably the number of sports psychs there were working with esports teams. But these days there seem to be quite a few, and people that are unknown to me, which is surprising. I'm sort of used to knowing everyone who's in the field, but there's lots of people I don't know now. Well, for me, it's a really big pond that I'm working in, because I used to work just in Australia and now I work all around the world. So, my horizons have expanded a great deal, and it's probably not surprising I don't know everybody.
Yeah. What kind of where's my question? I lost. There it is. So, since you joined 100 Thieves, what do you kind of think the biggest points of growth for the team have been that you have personally kind of had a hand in and worked on?
I think my debrief tool has been the most helpful for 100 Thieves, in that it gives an opportunity for people to speak up about things that they're comfortable or uncomfortable with, and for the team then to explore ways to fix that. And it's not to say that they weren't talking about these things, but let me explain how the debrief tool works, if that's okay with you, Andre.
Yeah, go for it.
So it's a tool that I've created that allows teams to say openly and honestly what they think is going on in the team. And so I use a Google Doc, and they fill in some notes about what went right, what went wrong, and just generally how they're feeling about things, or maybe there's some acknowledgements they want to give to their teammates, or just any sort of notes at all. Now, in the past, a lot of teams that I often work with, they say, oh, we do this verbally at the end. It's, we cover all these things. But usually what happens is that the team, when they're doing a verbal debrief, you usually only hear from one or two players, the more verbal type ones, or the ones that are maybe the IGL, or just you don't hear from everybody. And so you're not getting everybody's opinions. But with a written document like the one I propose, everyone writes in this Google sheet, tells everyone how they're feeling. But the trick is you don't reveal what you've written until everyone's finished. And so you're typing away madly. No one can see what you're writing. It's your own opinions. That's really important. And you have to have lots of trust in your team that what you say is taken the right way. You get a chance to explain it, but it's a trust building exercise as well. So that's another good reason to use it. Mm-hmm. So you're typing away madly. Everyone finishes what they're written. You hit enter, and suddenly everything gets revealed. And then you talk about it one at a time. So each person gets a chance to give their opinion without interruption, and they can be clarified at the end. But you get to hear from every single person, and everyone's got some really interesting viewpoints. You can't see all of the map at one time. And so you're hearing from people in different areas to you as to what their bottlenecks are, or what their problems are, or how you fix those things. And the team together works on how to fix things. And so the IGL, you go through your team members, the IGL goes nearly last, the coaches go last. And so the people who are often the quietest are forced to go first and give their insight as to what's happening. And it's a really useful document to have written down, and then maybe you have some solutions you want to put on there. So again, it's written down so you can go back and refer to it and see, oh, we said that a couple of scrims ago and we haven't fixed that up yet. Let's get onto that again. Mm-hmm. So it gives you a way of reflecting and fixing up things. And it means this document has saved probably every team I've worked on from imploding at various times when things have got really hard. And things, it gives you a chance to see that everyone's working as hard as you are in trying to fix things. It's brilliant. So I highly recommend everyone do something like that with their teams.
I mean, you kind of talked a little about it forcing people who are more quiet to kind of speak up. Do you think for, the more quiet people, it just allows them to kind of have a voice? They don't feel like they'll ever be like shut down, because you talked about without interruption. So does it like kind of in order, person goes, they get to talk, and the next person goes and they get to speak?
Yeah. So often in the team, or in 100 Thieves at the moment that I'm in, I'll go first as the least knowledgeable about any stats whatsoever. I'll talk to them about how their comms sound, because that's my expertise, and then I'll nominate one of the 4 players in the team to go next. And so then they can handball it then to the next person that they want to have speak. And so long as the other 4 go first and the IGL goes last, it's a memory trick for me to remember who's spoken or not. That's why I'm glad I go first. but the others, I'll leave it to the others to sort out who hasn't spoken yet. But yeah, it just gives everyone a chance to talk and have their say and participate fully in the team.
And so it kind of allows people, like you said, to have a voice, but also be able to look back and be like, okay, we've talked about this 4 times in a row. This hasn't been solved.
Why haven't we fixed it?
Yeah,
why haven't we fixed it now? Let's fix this right away. And sometimes it's not easy. Like, sometimes teams have been in slumps. I've worked with a Rocket League team that was in a slump for 8 weeks, and it would have killed any other team had we not had a document like this. And everyone could see every team member was working so hard to try and fix why we were so horrible in scrims. And luckily we came good. Like, it was after one regional, we did really well. And this is the trap. This is why you get slumps sometimes. You do really well. Everyone's expectations change. That's a problem. And they think, we've got it made now. We can take our foot off the brake, off the accelerator a little bit. And and afterwards, we were in a slump for 8 weeks, I think, until we qualified for the regional. This is during COVID. We qualified for the regional, the next one, without having to worry about how poor our scrims were. Just so lucky. and we came good right at the right time. It was just amazing. But what was interesting to me was there wasn't one thing that was going wrong. I very cleverly, this is when I started with this debrief document where you write it down without anyone seeing, because what I worked out was, when I asked, what is it that someone could do that would be more helpful to you, each person gave a different answer, or what thing was going wrong for you. Each person gave a different answer. And so for each person, there was one thing that if we just fix that one thing, it would be perfect for that person. But there were 3 different things. And so once we got those 3 things fixed, voila, we were fantastic again. but we were trying to fix just one thing at a time, and it wasn't working. And that's why we were not looking at the right area. So just ask the right question, Michelle.
Is that something you think is good for teams to implement, even who are vocal and kind of are able to air out their issues without judgment? Do you think that's still important to implement into a team?
I do, because people will talk about and bluster a whole lot. They'll talk about stuff that may not necessarily be the right thing to say, and just talking is not the answer. It's talking in a very strategic way, without emotion, trying to help your team the most. And so it's a brilliant tool for that.
I mean,
just talking itself is not the answer.
But kind of having the right conversation instead of just talking.
Yeah.
Is that something you kind of try to implement right when you get into a team of that kind of debrief, or something you kind of ease in?
It's the first thing I do. Yeah. Well, there's 2 things I do first. Sounds a bit silly, doesn't it? On the very first day, usually when I introduce myself to a team, like I turn up and I don't know anyone, and they don't know me. Especially if I'm working overseas, they may never have heard of me before. Or who'd imagine that? So they don't know how I work necessarily, and so what I want to do is try and impress them straight away. And so my PhD topic was on arousal and performance. How do you manage the right energy to get your best performance? And so there's this talk I've given that I've honed. I do it weekly almost since 1995, since I graduated with my PhD, that talks about the different theories. Now it sounds boring, but bear with me. There's four theories that I go through, and I talk about how to use those theories in practice. And so everyone's ears prick up when they say, okay, this is how I can fix things for myself. I'm really interested in fixing things for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it automatically, when I've given that talk, I usually get a fair bit of buy-in from the players to say, oh, she knows what she's talking about. This is good. And so that's my first big, entree ticket, I suppose. And then and then immediately afterwards, I ask them about how they debrief, because I know pretty well any team that hasn't worked with me is likely to only be doing verbal debriefs.
Mm-hmm.
And so I talk to them about, how do you do your debriefs normally, and can I show you how I think will work better? And so I show them my debrief tool, and then they might do a scrim, and at the end of the day, we do the debrief, and they say, oh yeah, okay, I can see the potential for this. So on the first day, they already have some skills that I think will help them a great deal.
I mean, kind of looking at how these as a whole, what do you think the most positive traits that you've kind of seen in each player or coach that you think they can bring to the team that benefits them as a whole?
Oh, Andre, that's a big question. I don't know that I want to single anyone out. Is that okay?
Yeah. If you want to go as a whole, yeah.
I want to talk as a whole. Yeah, they're all incredibly bright people. Like I've never worked with a team where every single person is really, really smart. It's so good. I love it. And so everyone's got some really great ideas. And the coaches are amazing to work for too. I have such a ball working with them because I'm in a coach channel with them, chatting away, and the way the two of them talk to each other is just amazing. I sit back and just chuckle the whole time about the zingers they talk about and the little memes they have, and it's very interesting. And I learn a lot too. I don't know much about strats, so I try not to know much about strats because my brain's full enough with psychology things. So that's where my preference is. But a lot of the stuff that I bring actually does cross over into. I get my hand wrapped quite regularly from the coaches, because what I suggest sometimes is a coaching type thing, whereas for me, I'm used to it being a sports psychology thing, and so I've got to watch out that I'm not overstepping my mark, which is something I have a tendency to do. What was I going to say? Oh, yes, because a lot of the teams that I work with in Australia, a lot of them don't even have coaches. And so often I'm the other eyes. I'm often in a coaching slot, and I'm the other eyes to pick up, hopefully, what things are working or not working for them. So I'm used to sort of overstepping a little bit into the coaching realm. And I apologise all the time to the coaches I work with. Yeah, but that's what I do. But anyway, so the players and the coaches are all incredibly smart, and they have lots of really great suggestions, and they usually listen very intently to the things that I'm suggesting too, having had that sort of buy-in from the first session or so. They are very willing to give what I say a go. I'm always appreciative of that.
Wait, what do you think kind of the biggest change that you brought to the team that kind of helped their turn results? Is it? I mean, I've talked to them a lot, and they've had high praise about you helping their communication and being more open with each other. But what do you think personally has been the biggest shift?
Oh, I don't know. It's hard for me to sit back and say. I think it's probably for someone else to comment more on than me. Yeah. Like a lot of the times I'm encouraging teams to have fun, because they're talking to each other a number of hours a day. They often in teams, well, in the teams at this level, they're living in close proximity, they're working in close proximity, and you want to be able to get on well with your teammates. And so just being able to have fun, value having scrims and having fun. It shouldn't all be just hard work. And part of that, I think, is encouraging each other to recognize good plays. And so whether it's good shooting or good reads or whatever, if you can acknowledge someone in the game when they're doing something really well, and this is a good tip for parenting, of course, if you catch your kid doing something good at the time you praise them, because they're more likely to reproduce it again for you. And so that's the sort of behavior you want to encourage. And so that's what I try to do too with my teams, get them to encourage each other, and yeah, it makes it more fun.
Mm-hmm. I mean, on that same kind of like note as encouragement, do you think there's a place in, you know, those scrimmages of like banter with each other, you know, if someone misses, you're like, oh, nice shot, you know, or do you think you think that can be a positive for like the vibes, or do you think that's just a net negative?
How is it going to be a negative? Unless you're being sarcastic.
And that's kind of means somebody who can
Right,
take
right.
it more sarcastically think you're actually being rude, or you think that's just kind of like...
I wouldn't venture into the sarcasm side of things, especially if you're in ranked. That's not going to be taken well, is it? But in a team situation, even then, I don't think sarcasm is a good way to express yourself in a way that's supportive to your teammates. So I would not encourage it that way. But definitely when you do see something good, and chances are very high in a scrims, you're going to see some good stuff. So why not encourage your teammates? Why wouldn't you try and help them? It builds their confidence and it makes it better for the team. Why wouldn't you do it?
I've always on the side of, like you said, with the confidence. If I'm in a game and someone whiffs, I don't even acknowledge it. We didn't see anything. I'm just like, hey, nice strikes. I feel like you said, it just kind of brings down confidence, makes somebody think I shouldn't do that next time versus, you know.
Right. Yeah. And make people scared to give it a go then. So yeah, you don't want that.
So more building on encouragement instead of tearing down people with, you know, the sarcastic kind of backhanded banter. Yeah.
The way that I look at things, as a sports psychologist working in esports and in traditional sports, the way I look at it is we all have some sort of ambition to get somewhere. We want to lift the trophy. We want to do as well as we can. We want to get into, qualify for something. And the way that I work is to look at what is it you're doing, thinking, and saying, and seeing if that helps you move closer to your goal or not. If it helps move closer to the goal, you want to do it more often. If it doesn't move closer to the goal, then you want to stop doing it. And so the difference is a lot of people will try to do more of the things they know will help them, which is great, but it's like driving a car with its handbrake on. Unless you stop doing the things that prevent you from moving closer to your goal, you're only going to move forward slowly. So by paying attention to the things which don't help you, then the handbrake is lifted up. So that's what I try to do, is try to look at things in a performance light. What is it that helps my team, and what is it that doesn't help my team?
Okay. I mean, like I talked about before, the players have had a lot of praise in the communication, helping get communication kind of cleaned up, more, like less cluttered.
Have you heard them lately?
Yes.
That's so good.
I have a friend.
That's exactly what I want them to sound like. They're doing such a great job. And it's funny because, in the early days, a couple of months ago when I first started with them, they're learning lots of things, the way that I want them to do things. And it's not as if you can implement everything all in one go. There were several weeks where I know where I want them to head, and they weren't there. We weren't anywhere close to that yet. So we started at the lower level, and we tried to fix things at a low level so that we've got a good foundation. And then I don't know if you read my LinkedIn article, which talks about the behind the scenes part, but we were doing quite well in comms for a number of weeks, but they were just the comms of every NA team. I'm going to be regional specific. Any NA team would have commed in the same sort of way. But the detail that you needed for international comms to win international competitions required you to be a bit more detailed, and that's what we've been really working hard on the last couple of months really now. And if you listen to it, if you're a player listening to this video, if you listen to the comms VODs of 100 Thieves Valorant team, you'll hear quite a difference between now and even 3 months ago. And the difference is in the detail that the team is giving, because if you're giving enough detail, you're going to prevent your teammates from getting killed. And so that's a really important factor. And so that's what we've been working on. So as I was saying, there's lots of things that I worked really hard on for the first couple of months. And now I feel like I'm cruising a little bit in that we're just practicing those things now and just tightening them up and making sure we can replicate them as often as we possibly want to. So yeah, it's just a different sort of scenario right now compared to 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I have a friend who's a huge 100 Thieves fan, and I'll talk to him a big, wow, the communication, like, there's a bit from, like, years ago of, like, the communication, it's all cluttered, and, like, but now it's, like, there's certain teams, I think I've watched enough that I'll hear comms and be like, ooh, there's a little too much going on. But I feel like when you watch the top-level teams, like the 100 Thieves, like the G2s, like the NRGs, you're like, wow, it's so concise. I think it's the biggest thing, because being concise with everything.
I haven't heard anyone do comms as good as us, to be honest. Any team. So I'm very proud of that. Actually, I'm very proud. They're great players that listen hard.
What kind of tools do you think you kind of gave to the players to help with that aspect of proper communication, being more concise instead of it being cluttered?
Well, there are things that get mentioned in the debrief doc that I'm looking for, and if they get mentioned a number of times, then there's something still to be fixed. Mm-hmm. I won't say we're perfect, but we know where we've got to try and aim for, and we try our best to get there. So I'm just really proud of all the team.
Mm-hmm. Do you think there's I know a lot of teams give keywords that kind of mean something. That have you guys, 100 Thieves kind of as a whole, done the same thing?
Yeah, they have a lot of keywords lots of the ones that I don't know about. That's fine.
It's so funny when you're watching, because some teams will get clowned on, but because people don't know what they mean, you're watching and the team calls pineapple and you're like, what could that mean? But for them it means something, It
certainly does.
That's one of my favorite things.
Pineapple is one of those words that people use when things have really gone up wrong the way.
Yeah.
The wrong way. Just total muck up.
One of my favorite things to do.
I don't know a specific team how they use it, but that's traditionally how it's used. Things have just gone bad. You just have to laugh at it, otherwise you're in trouble. Yeah,
I think, because I like watching the kind of college videos and try to figure out why your team's saying certain things. From what I looked, it was envy, and I think it means it's supposed to be, because it's supposed to be a word. You hear someone called pineapple and you're okay, that means something not in the game at all. From what I noticed, I think it means I have a play I'm making, nobody do anything. Everyone stop.
Could well be. That's right. Yeah. Everyone has their own keywords and how they want to define them, for sure.
And I think it's really interesting.
Usually, though, the editors of the comms VODs usually keep those sort of words out, so I'm surprised it got through.
I think it was on the actual broadcast, they were playing the broadcast comms, and they started calling pineapple, and everyone's like, what does pineapple mean? So I'm sitting here what does pineapple mean? Yeah, there has to be something here. They're not just saying pineapple for no reason. So stuff like that's pretty interesting to me, of always the comms videos. I love watching those 100 Thieves and energies.
That's how everyone should watch it, to be honest.
They're so fun. It's just to even get a more inside look on how the team works. Yeah, you kind of get
you do. It's
the behind the scenes stuff.
When I first start working with teams, the first thing I ask for is, can you show me some comms VODs, please? I need to have a look and see what's going on before I even start. So one of the things that when I started at 100 Thieves, and a lot of teams too, I was really pleased to hear how the team uses first names. And one of the things when I talk about comms with other teams, using first names means that you are part of the internal workings of the team, and it makes you feel really, really close. So when I come in sometimes to work with other teams, and I talk about, using first names, a lot of teams say, we're really reluctant to do that because, we've had our in-game names for years and years and we love using those. And I say, well, okay, that may be true, but if you use first names, you tend to react faster to your own name than an in-game name, but also, as I said, it signifies that you're part of this internal group, and everyone else outside of the team can use your in-game name. And if you're inside the team, you use your first name. And so they say, oh, okay. And I said, look, just give it a try for give it 3 months. If you really don't like it, you can go back. And after about 6 weeks, they say, we're not going to change because we love this first name. It makes such a difference. It's team building. It's team bonding. And it's amazing how it works that way. So again, if you're a young player on a team, make sure you're all using first names because that's really important.
Interesting how a small thing like that can have such a big impact on a team, just calling somebody by their first name, because like you said, it's a team bonding thing. I feel like, at least in my mind, you're recognizing the person, like, oh, great shot, to their first name, like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you can acknowledge someone, when they're doing something great and use their name, the bonus is amazing. So, it's very important to try and do that as often as you can.
I mean, you talked a little about the comms videos. You don't have to single out any names, but have you ever kind of gone to a team and you got a comms video and you're like, whoa, this is rough?
I'm sorry, I missed what you said. What was the word you said?
Oh, have you ever kind of watched one of the comms videos and, you're watching for the first time and you're like, this is a little rough. You're like, whoa, this is crazy.
Oh, in teams I've worked with or teams that I'm just listening to in their comms VODs?
Like teams, like right when you start working with them, like at the beginning, before you've done anything. Yeah.
Well, if I hear something like that, I know that automatically that I'm going to get a big change straight away. So I know, this is going to work really well. I can fix that because remember, I'm always looking for things that they can do that will improve their performance. And so, if I can suggest something that will improve performance, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah. Okay. I just always thought about the idea of like you for the first time you're tuning into a team and you're like, okay. There's a lot going on here, a lot wrong.
I've got a lot to work with. I'm all on my plate. Yeah.
You're like, this is going to make me look really good. This is going to make me look really good. Oh, this is going to be great.
You've got it.
They're going to think I'm a wizard. They're going to be like, wow, it feels so much better now already.
Oh, that's right.
So, that one friend I talked about earlier who's a big fan, I wanted to ask a question to you because I've heard so much from the coaches, from the players, how much you do. What's it been like specifically working with the rookies on the team, and what do you think it is about them that's helped them qualify to international and win it so quickly?
You would never know that they were rookies.
Nope.
Jordan and Tim are very polished, and what I love most. There's so many things I love about this team, but one of the things is I can never tell. From scrim to scrim, from map to map even, any one of the five could be at the top of the leaderboard. They're all so talented. They're so incredibly talented. And so I was seeing a tweet yesterday, I think, about, how, what great pool there is of rookies to choose the MVP Rookie of the Year. And I'm thinking, even amongst my own team, I couldn't tell you between the two of them which one would be, better, because any one of the five really could easily be, bobbing up and doing a great scrim at the time. So it's just wonderful.
And I always love on the team the difference between the two. You have Bora, like when you do the comms, they do their little thing. He's always like, "Oh, good job, guys," and the team was like, "Let's go, yes, let's go, guys." Yeah.
They have different personalities for sure.
How important do you think having somebody like Timotine on a team who gets super hype, who's yelling, can be for a team's kind of overall morale, communication, just kind of vibes?
It's. I used to think that having a hype guy was not the way to go. To designate someone as a hype guy. If you're not that sort of person, if you are naturally that sort of person, that's fantastic. He does it so well. He's so good. But if you're in a team where there's not someone naturally lending itself to that sort of role, I want to make sure that everyone understands that everyone on the team has a role in that case. Everyone has a chance to lift up their teammates, and it shouldn't just be reliant on that one guy. But if you have a hype man, then that's fantastic. But again, it shouldn't just be relying on that one person either. But it does make it a lot easier when you've got someone cheering you on. I mean, who doesn't want someone cheering them on? Why wouldn't you want that? So yeah, he does a great job.
Yeah, you can't force it. That's one thing I've learned from being around people.
It's natural enthusiasm for sure.
Because it just seems like Timotino's always so happy to be out there
He's
performing.
so lovely.
The happiest person I've ever
right.
seen on stage. It's crazy. I've never seen someone this happy to be playing every day. It's so funny to me. So, do you have one or two pieces of advice for individuals or teams who are looking kind of try to improve their gameplay or mental that they can try to improve soon?
Yeah, I think, as I said, where I'm trying to always look at things that improve or move closer to, good performance or move away from good performance. I think if a person on a team or a team themselves does a bit of an audit of, what things does this team do or what do I do that is helpful or unhelpful to my teammates, and, things like acknowledging good efforts by name, that's something that you can do more of. And you might want to stop tilting, for instance, as a lot of teams are prone to do. They have one or two people who tilt a lot, and so recognizing what conditions they have that cause the tilting, and working really hard to try and minimize and get out of the tilting phase is pretty crucial for a team to perform well. So those sort of things, but just combing better information, things that you could do better, list them and then measure them. See how many rounds you can go where, you're scoring, giving yourself a green score, for instance, colouring in a cell green or red or yellow. And, stringing together cells of green will show you whether you're getting improvement or not. And seeing that sort of improvement over time is very reinforcing. So yeah, just measuring things you want to change is the advice I've got.
Do you think of course the players talked about how much the communication has helped, but do you think you've helped the coaching staff of kind of NBS and Doom Bros be better communicators with the players?
I try to help everybody, of course. but they are fantastic, and the two of them have different skills. What I find with Doom Bros, he pops in because he does a lot of scouting for us, and he's got such a big brain. He's so good. But he'll pop in, and he can see straight away when there's something not quite right too, and he'll pop into the coaches. Usually NBS is the only one that talks during the scrims, and sometimes Doom Bros will pop in and he'll just make a comment, in a casual sort of way that will suddenly help a player to unleash is the word I want to say, but just they sort of open up in a different way and suddenly something's different and improved. So he has an amazing knack for that. And NBS is just very, very smart as well. He's very encouraging of his teammates, all the team, and he's just very cluey and emotionally aware, I think, of what the team needs. And so he'll do a lot of sports psychology stuff and tell me not to do coaching. So I just sit back sometimes.
You just gotta swap roles sometimes. It's crazy.
It'd be a disaster for the team if that happened. I know nothing.
There's sometimes when they're doing comms, I can't remember exactly what game. I think it was a game versus Sentinels. They were showing a round after the team won, and I remember I saw Cryo. He's usually, I feel like, pretty quiet. I don't know, obviously behind the scenes, but
he is very quiet normally. Yeah.
There's one game where they went around, he's screaming, and I was like, it's over. The 100 Thieves is gonna win. He doesn't do that. Like, the game's over. If he's screaming, he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, it's over.
That's right.
Yeah, because I always wondered,
good picking.
We only get so much, on the broadcast. Like, behind the scenes, yeah, I always wondered if he was as quiet, in the interviews I do with him, on the broadcast as he.
He's very thoughtful, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when Matt speaks, you want to listen because he's very cluey, and he'll tell you what's going on that maybe things that you wouldn't have seen before. So yeah, I have a lot of respect.
Mm-hmm. Just the one last thing here to wrap up. You have your Pocket Psych, your little I can't remember the name of it. I'm spacing. I even used it before this. But
Pocket Psych's my in-game name.
I can't remember.
PokketCoach is my AI, but PokketCoach is with two Ks. So yeah, I've worked with two other guys last year, we started off creating an AI version of me, which at first I thought sounded preposterous, because how can anyone possibly do the things that a sports psychologist does? I mean, crazy. So our talented CEO showed me how this might work, and I was totally blown away. And it's not because, I originally had lots of reservations because, what's out on the internet is most of it's crap. It's not great advice necessarily, and I think I'm a better sports psychologist than most people. So if it was trained on my work and the way I work with athletes, I thought that's going to be something that's really brilliant. And last year we had my two co-founders come and live at my place. So one was from America and one was from Melbourne as well, but they came to live at my place, and we worked solidly in 2 big stints of several months at a time from my place. And so they were testing this AI sports psychologist in front of my eyes. One of them was a past client of mine, a past player of mine that I'd worked with.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was putting in there lots of examples of things that he could think of that were, problems that a sports psychologist might want to solve. And so when they're testing the model and creating the model, that they're just being so clever about it, I got a chance to see how it worked. And for the first time, when I saw it for the first time, and they're showing me how a problem might come up and how this AI Pocket, our AI penguin, answers the question based on my work. One of the first things they talked about was about setting goals, I think, and how, what sort of short-term goals they might set. And one of them, acting as the client, put in, I want to win, I want to do something really, two different things. But I sort of nudged him at the time, and I said, the first goal isn't a process goal. It doesn't. I would get you to reframe that, because it's too long term and it's not not the right goal to choose. And sure enough, seconds later, Pocket comes up and says exactly the same thing. Surprise, because it's based on my work. But I love the way that it's it couched the words, and it talked about how you might change it to something different. And I thought, oh wow, this is actually acting as a sports psychologist. And I was a little bit quiet after that, and they said, what's wrong, Michelle? You're a bit quiet. And I said, I think I've just killed my profession. It's really, really good. So if anyone's looking to work with a sports psychologist but hasn't got the big bucks, because we do cost a lot of money, unfortunately, we've done a lot of training, it's worth giving Pocket a try. It's only $20 US if you go to PokketCoach.com, POKKET coach.com. You'll get some great advice, just like I would give, and there's quizzes to take and goal setting stuff to do, but Pocket is really brilliant at identifying issues and working with you to improve you as a player. Mm-hmm. So give it a go. If you don't like it, cancel, but it's only $20. Why wouldn't you do it?
Might as well try it one time, you know what I mean? Exactly.
But the people who get the most benefit out of it, they just talk to Pocket as though they're talking to me, not an AI, because it's not like an AI where you say, tell me all the things you know about this. It doesn't work that way. It works with you one-to-one as a person, and it wants to improve you as a person. So if you talk to it like a person, you'll get the most benefit out of it. And there are players on there that tell us that they're getting a lot of really good advice and really good help from it. So I hope so. We want to help as many people as possible.
Mm-hmm. I think it's very interesting to have, like you said, it's very expensive. So having something that a lot of people can use
24/7. I mean, you can use it any time. And, I have lots of athletes who are overseas that are awake and need me when I'm asleep, which is not often. I work lots of times around the clock. But yeah, it's very helpful to people who can. I've had others who actually are my clients, because I've tried to encourage some of my clients, my traditional sport athletes, to give it a go too, and my past esports people as well. And the feedback we've got from them is we're more honest with the AI than we are with you, Michelle. And I thought, I was a bit offended by that, but actually it makes a lot of sense because I think they feel less judgmental, less judgment from an AI than a person, and they can get some really honest feedback that way. Not that I wouldn't do that myself, but that's what they feel. So, oh well. I'm glad they're getting help from somewhere.
Just different talking to a person having to tell them that than a screen.
Exactly. It's a worry, isn't it?
Well, then just to wrap up, I mean, do you have any kind of social media you'd like to plug or any last words you'd like to give to anybody watching this who's trying to get into the thing you're getting into or just trying to become a professional athlete?
Right. Well, firstly, if you're a fan of 100 Thieves, please buy the bundle because it really is very helpful to us. But if you're a sports psychologist and you're thinking about esports, it's a lot of fun. And there's like a million teams that would love to work with you to share to have you share your knowledge, and don't be too frightened because traditional sports and esports really do match up quite well, and I'm sure you can be very impactful for a team. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm Pocket Psych on Twitter. That's okay. Thank you very much. Pleasure. Finally found some time. Good on you. Me too. That's right. I'll have lunch. Thank you. Thanks very much.